fuck you for what you did.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and slowly rip open your Trapper Keepers. I am Chris, and I am here with Professor Hootie, a.k.a. Trap Daddy.
What's up, fellas? Excited to talk about old Raylan Givens today.
We're also joined by one crazy mother, Professor Nasty, a.k.a. Joey.
What up, y'all? Who's ready to get a little bit loco today?
Who let the dogs out? That's the real question on everybody's mind.
Ay, ay, ay!
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Pepperidge Farm members.
Damn right. All right, before we get into it, got some few interesting little news tidbits to share with you boys. But first, I had to do some due diligence here. I had it written down too, but somehow skipped over the fact that we had an email to read here on the podcast last episode, so all apologies. But we did have a fan reach out. We had questioned the A24 versus Blumhouse argument, the debate. We put it out there to see if anybody had any solid leads on which is better. We got a response here from a fan. So I was going to share the email here with you guys live on the old podcast.
Ooh, exciting.
Are we sure this person isn't an employee of either company?
Not verified. I didn't look for the blue check marks, but I think if you read the content, this person's definitely a level-headed individual. So the question has been posed, and a great question it is. Each studio stands out in its own unique way, for better or worse, though I do think it comes in a matter of opinion. I've listened to every episode of the podcast. I binged 60 or so within about a 30-day period, so I am satisfied to say I have your particular tastes pretty well locked down. Each have your own personalities, the sweet needs the salty, so it works in great balance. We appreciate that. I have personal taste tends to lean towards A24, so my opinion may be skewed that way a bit. That's not to say because it is highbrow, but simply because it is made by cinephiles for cinephiles. Jason Blum is a juggernaut in the industry because of his ability to grow money in his garden, and there's nothing wrong with appealing to the masses. That's not to say A24 can't sometimes get stuck up their own anus. For every Hereditary, we get a Talk to Me. I found that film to be bland and something akin to Neon, to be honest. Appreciate a contrarian opinion there. However, while I enjoy Blumhouse movies, even the lower quality ones like Truth or Dare, I would be hard-pressed to name you 5 that actually stand out. Lamb is boring, but the cinematography is enough to keep you engaged. Night House was just bad. It had no Icelandic landscapes to save it. Pepsi and Coke, sometimes you just want a different flavor, but in the end, they're both soda. Written tongue-in-cheek from a very gracious fan. We appreciate you doing your homework, sir.
That was very eloquent and well put together. You probably should have your own podcast.
Yeah, you should definitely take one of our chairs because we're 3 idiots, as we like to advertise.
I was the idiot that said Lamb was an awful film, and I still stand by that, but I will say to that person's point, it was gorgeous.
It was fun to look at. Anything you shoot in like the Scandinavian or like Nordic countries always just looks awesome. Every time I see something there, I want to go there and like get in a hot spring and watch a glacier melt in the global warming takeover or something.
Maybe they should have made a Lamb and have the same guy who does Planet Earth through the commentary.
Oh, Attenborough? Is it Attenborough who does it? David Attenborough?
As the lamb wears the raincoat.
I could see Joey like walking around naked in Iceland and just being commentated on by David Attenborough.
Look at
Notice the dingleberries hanging from the hairy asshole.
Rubbing my fucking ass against like a stump, trying to get that last little bit of shit I couldn't reach off of it.
As he grinds against the great oak trees. Notice his roar.
Fucking scratching my balls and sniffing my fingers.
That's the commentary we're missing for sure. Again, this is just more proof that we are not as elegant as we claim to be. But yeah, aside from that, appreciate you reaching out there. Great email. Keep that feedback.
Yeah, it's very well put together. Thanks for the fan interaction. That was nice.
And still, just to get it on mic, I vote A24, just so it's out there.
However, I don't think you could put me in a box and say you know my tastes.
Oh,
they're ever evolving. You know, like one week I like something, next week I think it's shit.
And some weeks you just like shit. I've definitely seen you
Oh, I love shit.
enjoy a big plate of shit.
Shit's my fave. That's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't like shit, right? But you always know how shit tastes.
Just like it
How about
smells.
that?
There's comfort. There's comfort
Just like it
in the familiarity with it, you know?
All right, 2 little bits of news here. Thought were pretty cool. The 90s slasher franchise, I Know What You Did Last Summer, is headed back to the big screen with a brand new movie.
Didn't we talk about this?
We talked about it as a series.
I saw the series the other day.
This is going to be a movie. It says Hollywood Reporter notes the model for the new take is the 2022 Scream reboot. Members of the original cast mixing it up with the cast of young up-and-comers. Franchise will return to theaters in July 2025. Freddie Prinze coming back, baby.
Does the movie have this many legs? Like it needs a new series? It needs a
Apparently.
new movie?
I mean, I think if you think of Scream and you think of its, I wouldn't say spiritual successor, but the closest copycat version of it, it was that movie, right?
Is Gabrielle Union in the sequel?
The second one? I thought it was
Yeah.
Brandy in the second one.
Wait, is who?
That is Brandy. Sorry, it's Brandy. Yep,
I think Gabrielle Union was still in Bring It On at that point.
this is true. Sorry.
Early days.
Look, the only person that matters for the sequel is Jack Black.
Jack Black.
And I
is
don't
in
think
that.
we'll be seeing
God,
him
he's
reprise
terrible.
that role.
Well.
Spoiler alert.
He had dreads, didn't he?
He was so fucking clean,
I
bro.
think that
He was
character
so
would work,
good.
man. That character's not going to work today. Also, I thought this was pretty cool. Days before San Diego Comic-Con, both Jason Blum and Todd McFarlane shared the same photo on X, showing the title page for a script titled King Spawn, written by Matt Mixon, Malcolm Spillman, and Scott Silver, who wrote part of the Joker, the new Joker. I didn't know there was like a Spawn sequel in the works.
Look, if it don't have John Leguizamo, then I'm not gonna watch it.
Gotta get Michael Jai, baby.
I was about to say the one you hold your heel on is not Michael Jai White.
No, it's fucking John Leguizamo is the fucking clown, bro. He's the
Okay,
most memorable
who's-
character in the entire movie.
Michael Jai White's fantastic though.
Michael Jai
Jack?
White is pretty awesome in that. 20 years since the last time I watched that first one. It was like on HBO all the time when we were in
Yeah, it
high
was on
school.
all the time. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I've sat through its entirety, but maybe ever. So it might be something worth revisiting there.
Did Martin Sheen make it through that movie?
I didn't know he was even in the movie. So
Yeah,
That's
Martin
the
Sheen.
limit
Is
to my
it,
knowledge.
is it Martin Sheen? Charlie Sheen's
was it
dad?
Emilio Estevez?
he's
Richard.
like the antagonist. He's like the bad guy.
Is he playing Gordon Bombay in the Spawn
No,
universe?
not Emilio Estevez. Fucking Martin Sheen, bitch.
That's where the knee injury came from. Now I get it. The canon is clicking.
Jay shot Charlie.
Oh, now we're going way on the deep end. Hockey movies for the win.
Here's the thing: talking about hockey movies always devolves into talking about what's that shit, Jack Frost. Like it all
Yes.
leads back to talking about Jack Frost.
It all leads back to a snowman.
Frosted tips, man. 40-year-old men with frosted tips in the late 90s.
I still want that Jack Frost band sticker.
Jesus Christ. Nobody sent that to him
Fucking
for-
harmonica.
as a gift. Yeah, that's all I got on the news front. You guys got anything to share? Seen any new movies lately? Anything worth shouting out?
We saw Longlegs. Did we talked about that last week though, didn't we?
Yeah, we just recorded that bit.
I
so.
need to rewatch that movie. Give it another try. Give it a fair shake. I don't feel like I was able to give it a fair shake the first time around.
That's what drugs will do to you.
I was telling the boys before we hopped on the mics tonight that I watched the first Hell House LLC, and I was kind of shocked at the first installment of a 4-part franchise that none of us have seen before.
It's relatively new, right? Is it all COVID, post-COVID movies, or is it like longer than that?
Now you're asking me to give you the
Now you're
whole
getting into details.
timeline, Chris. I know the first one came out in 2015, but it's based in 2009, and I feel like that's pretty good.
Look,
Okay.
Chris, don't fucking ask too many questions. He can save it for our review of Hell House 1 in like 2032 or whenever the fuck we get around to it.
I can see us recording that at the retirement home. We finally get to record in one room together. Spoiler alert, we are not in the same room at this moment. Just sitting around the old foosball table.
I'm over there on the fucking
Oh.
oxygen tank. Man, that's a pretty
Joey,
good movie.
Joey, turn your O2 down. We're trying to record here, brother.
Tom Savini Jr. did great work.
I'm so fucking high, bro.
Joey asked me if I'm going to eat my damn cornbread.
You eat your cornbread? We're going to go to cookout.
Look, dude, don't even talk about food right now. I'm on a fucking fast, and I am hurting.
Ooh.
That's the slowest fast I've ever seen.
That's pretty good. You need to write that down.
Got it.
You need to somebody needs to put that on a magnet.
Damn it, that's a t-shirt we just could have patented but did not. All right, boys, that's all we got. Without further ado, today's assignment is 2010's The Crazies. Today's lesson, thought this was pretty good on the poster here. Fear thy neighbor.
Very biblical, very ominous. What led you to pick this movie, Hootie?
Well, we all know that I have weird taste, and I love zombie movies and creature features. And I remember we all saw this film, I think together. It might be one of the first films we all saw together in theaters, I believe.
Yeah, it's definitely within the first couple of years we started going to movies together.
Touching each other, I understand.
Well, that too.
And I remember I remember this movie fondly.
I figured it might be tied back to your love of Mr. George Romero.
It's that. It's Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, this is what was the Mutant Chronicles at the time? You thought that was like the perfect amalgamation of everything you loved, and it turned out
that was the height.
It turned out the Crazies may have been a better example of things you loved coming together at that time.
I went through such a brainwashed Thomas Jane phase that I thought that man was going to be the next Clint Eastwood.
It's like you picked him, like you voted for him in high school as president. You kind of just had to keep riding.
That's it.
That's
my guy.
You know what led him?
I'm stuck with him.
You know what he watched that got him into Thomas Jane? That show Hung. That's the show that really, really made Hootie a huge fan of Thomas Jane.
Ain't nothing like a prop cock to get someone on your side.
That show is the only Black Keys song I pretty much know all the way through.
All the way through.
Hung?
All the way through. No, it's not called Hung.
Jesus, man, I love the Black Keys. How dare you insult the Black Keys?
Nothing wrong with them. It's just not my vibe.
Anywho, as we alluded to, this is your choice, sir, so the mic is yours.
So right off the top, if anybody out there is like, hey, Hootie sounds weird. Well, I had the pleasure of watching this film while having COVID, which, fellas, is pretty weird, to be honest.
The irony is it's definitely there in retrospect.
I watched this movie, and my fever was 100.5. We pushed through. This is what we do for our audience.
So if you were in this situation, you'd been taken out back and shot like a dog and thrown into a mass grave.
No, he's clearly pregnant.
Clearly. We're going to get into that later on. Let's just jump into the IMDb fan reviews. And as we typically do, I'm going to start with a negative because people are going to bitch. And this comes from Sam779, and I'm not going to give out what I believe is the man's phone number after that.
Oh, shit. Don't text him. Do not add him, but I will include it in the show notes.
June 2010. Titled, I signed up just to write this review. What a guy.
Oh, shit.
This was one of the most contrived, awfully scripted, awfully acted films I have ever seen. A complete waste of money. If anybody involved in this film ever gets to work in the industry again, then it is to the massive detriment of the human society. If you are reading this and you haven't watched this film, then don't bother. The film really blows. Like, really. 1 out of 10 stars.
Zero critique in there that has any substance or legs at all. You wasted your time, buddy, signing up for that, providing your email address to IMDb.
But the weird part is, like, there's so many legitimately terrible horror movies out there, or just movies in general, that you could sign up and shit talk. And this, I think, can be perceived as, at the very least, a decent movie.
Yeah, I can understand the criticism of, hey, run of the mill, I've seen it before. It is a remake. It's a familiar formula. But just on production value alone, you can make a 1 out of 10 GTFO, man.
But that's the thing. It's not really that common of a formula. Like, yeah, okay, I guess you can really boil it down to being like a fucking zombie movie. Sure.
Right. Yeah.
But
on the surface, that formula's there.
But you kind of go into it expecting that, right? Like from the fucking trailer, you can kind
From
of
the
tell,
title.
hey, this is leaning towards a certain type of moviegoer.
I read that review and I thought to myself, perhaps this was an extra who got fired like during shooting and just wanted to write a bad review because it just seems weird.
Yeah, it seems like a vendetta involved almost. There's a few movies that probably deserve you signing up just to trash it, maybe if everyone's praising it for whatever reason, and you absolutely hated it, but I don't know. This movie wasn't offensive on any level enough, I think, to trigger that kind of reaction.
This is from July 2019 from Wayne Horror Show 10. And I have a note here that asks you fellas right up front, was this AI generated? Weird verbiage. Titled, this was a new horror film for me as I haven't seen the original. Was a good film. Quite a unique way of a horror/survival film. Gave me a few jump scares. One huge. One nearly put my pizza in my eyes. Hoping to see a number 2. We will see. Watch it. You enjoy it. 8 out of 10 stars.
That's in no way an AI generated review. That's just somebody who has a very loose grasp on the English language.
Someone in character writing that review there. Hope to get to see a number 2. Well, if they tune into Joey's documentary feature that we're developing, they'll see lots of number 2.
Can you imagine being so jump scared by this movie that you almost stab yourself in the eye with like a fucking pizza crust?
With a pizza? I was thinking more like the whole pie itself. Just
No. You think about you holding a piece of pizza and you're bringing it up.
Oh,
to
you're talking about
mouth.
like in the. I got you.
In the process,
In
and
the
he's like,
motion
"Oh
of
my
eating.
god!" And the fucking he almost had a stuffed crust, but it was stuffed with eye goop.
Damn, I want some pizza now.
Dude, I've been craving pizza all fucking day.
I had pizza this evening.
You had pizza?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to get some. You had to get fucking pesto or some bullshit. What was on the pizza?
What?
Margarita pizza. Is that what it's called?
I had bacon.
Oh fuck!
Damn.
Sausage.
Yeah, mine's off the
beef. Extra cheese.
God damn! I thought you was on a diet.
Protein.
I weighed today after having COVID.
Shake your arm. Hold your arm up and shake it. Ugh! I can see the fucking sausage.
I weighed myself today after going through COVID because I think I'm done. Hopefully,
you probably pissed.
I was 184 pounds.
Oof.
What were you at pre-COVID? Any ideas?
I think I was close to 188.
That's a tight 184 too, ladies and gentlemen.
Tight.
Ooh.
There ain't much jiggle on this.
You could cook an egg on that chest.
I tried to eat as much pizza as I could. We'll see if I gained anything. But anyway,
how much is a lot of pizza for you?
I ate half a large pizza, and that's all I could do.
Was it like big box location?
This motherfucker over here is living through you right now.
New York?
Tell me how big
Is
that
it like
pizza
New
is.
York pizza? What is it? What are we talking
Please
about here?
tell me how it melted in your mouth.
Yeah, tell me, describe.
So I am a sucker for Pizza Hut pan pizza. That's exactly what I got.
I
Oh
do like
man,
a pan pizza, bro.
they kind of fucked up the formula though, right? Like I had
It's not as good as it used to
It's
be.
nowhere near as good as it used to be.
Yeah, it's still greasy as hell. That's for damn sure.
I'm a thin crust boy. I mean, I like it all. Don't get me wrong, but I like a thin crust.
I like the buttery, thick pan crust, though. Nothing beats that.
The director of the Crazies is, man, I have forgotten how bad I am at hosting or pronouncing names. Here we go.
Breck Eisner.
Director Breck Eisner, who also directed Sahara and The Last Witch Hunter, which was his follow-up film in 2015.
Ben Diesel.
Ben Diesel? Is that the knockoff of Vin Diesel?
is the Last Witch Hunter. It's literally like a Van Helsing knockoff, like bullshit. Is the Expanse? Is that the show you tried to get me to watch, Chris?
Yes, this dude did 14 episodes of the fucking Expanse, which ties directly back to Thomas Jane.
So is that like a
show.
sci-fi show? What is it?
Yeah, it's I'd call it a hard sci-fi show. It's more like, people say it's like Game of Thrones, but space. It's like if our society actually evolved to this point where space travel is like a normal thing. There's no real fantasy elements to it like you get in Star Trek or any of that. No alien.
But it
type
is
stuff.
good. I'm gonna have to
It's good, yeah.
give
I'm
this a watch.
actually reading the first book now. The series has been over for a few years, but they didn't finish it
Nerd
out.
alert. Nerd alert.
They didn't
Nerd
finish the
alert!
series because Amazon's a bunch of cheap bastards.
Well, that's
so
like the
I'm gonna
same
read
thing
the
with like
books.
Firefly. I mean, they had
Yeah,
Serenity.
sci-fi's
come out,
hard.
but Firefly's
Yeah,
really
it's really
good.
good.
Too, if you've never seen
I
it.
recommend The Expanse.
The biggest takeaway from the director being Breck Eisner is the fact that he's Michael Eisner's son. Michael Eisner's pretty much, I guess, after Walt Disney, he's like the second most important figure to the Disney Corporation. Like he was responsible, or he helmed Disney at the time that they went through their renaissance with
Yeah,
like
the 90s
Aladdin,
stuff,
Lion
right? The
King, and
cartoons.
all that shit. Yeah. Beauty
Yeah,
and the Beast.
a lot of money made in that household. So you telling me this is this guy's career is a product of nepotism? Perhaps?
100%.
Wow. There are multiple writers attached to this film. First up, Scott Koser, who wrote The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, the reboot, The Machinist, and the Amityville Horror remake, which we've already covered on this show. Now, he wrote that script in 2004. This movie was made in 2010. The script was edited by Ray Wright, and that was his job, to edit Scott's script. And all of this was based on George A. Romero's original script from 1973.
I'm gonna tell you what, Ray Wright. He's responsible for Pulse from fucking the Kristen Bell movie about like the computer trying to kill everybody. Man, that movie was ass cheeks.
But that was a remake too, right? Was that a Japanese original or my?
Just like with Ringu
confusing that with something?
and the Grudju.
Yeah, I think it was one of those J horror imports, but I might be conflating it with something else.
Who fucking knows? But yeah, that Ray Wright guy, he doesn't have a very good looking, attractive IMDb page, to say the least.
It makes you wonder why they picked him to edit the script, because he doesn't have a good track record, to your point.
He's probably cheap.
Yeah, script doctoring is common practice in Hollywood, but a lot of those guys go uncredited, so he may have even been hired to do it. I think if they change so much of an original script, then they are forced to give them credit as a rewrite. Like if it's more than 25% or something of the original.
I think this
text.
dude just went through and put a bunch of commas and semicolons and fucking apostrophes and shit in there.
I don't think that's how they do it, but what do I know? Mr. Kozer, though, this dude made a whole career out of writing horror remakes, didn't he?
I was about to say that. How
Isn't
is
that
that?
wild?
Like, he is the guy.
You said Texas Chainsaw, that was like 03, right? Or 01.
Yep.
He wrote this in 04, and then Amityville comes out in 05. So for 3 years, he's just writing these 3 scripts and then just cashing checks.
Here's the thing, 2003's Texas Chainsaw, that movie is actually probably one of the better. The dude also wrote a few episodes of Bates Motel. I kind of fell off that show.
I finished it just because I'm such a fan of the source material. It's not incredible, but it is worth a watch. I think Vera Farmiga, I always love seeing her on screen.
Y'all love that lady.
I mean, she's
next
fucking,
level,
she's
bro.
fine. She's a great actress. She's fine. Did I mention she was fine?
She's no Thomas Jane, but
No
she's
time.
she's a nice looking gal.
Lacks the length that Thomas Jane would. Let's hop into some behind the scenes, fellas. I really couldn't scrounge up a lot about this film.
I think we're all in the same boat. Checking my usual sources, I came up pretty dry outside of the little tidbit here that the actors and actresses who actually became like full-blown crazies, like I guess the final zombie form, they spent like 3 hours in makeup, which honestly doesn't sound like a lot for like prosthetic heavy film.
Sounds like a pretty good special effects crew.
Pretty efficient.
Oh yeah, I think
for sure.
that turned out fucking fantastic for what was used.
Yeah, everything I had pretty much highlights the makeup department stuff too. The makeup for the film was designed by Almost Human Studios. They also did the makeup for Quarantine, Frankenfish, and the Prom Night remake from 2008 or so. Frankenfish, whatever the hell that is. Seems like this studio was in business here for a good 5 years. I don't know if they still are, but they had a good run.
One of the notes that I had was this film does take place in Iowa, and some of the filming was shot in Lenox, Iowa. Lenox is the opposing baseball team in the first part of the film. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, the opener?
Yeah, the opening baseball scene. Could you imagine you being in high school and being asked to be on a movie set just playing baseball?
That would be pretty dope. Something else I saw that was pretty interesting with the makeup was the director's early vision. Pretty much they were going to be zombies, but he kind of got tired of the cliche look, so they wanted to do what they called an under the skin. Blood vessels bursting, face and neck muscles tense and tendons tight. He described this look as hyper alive. I thought that was a pretty interesting way to put it. As opposed to literally Walking Dead. These supposed like the opposite. Beyond alive, like engorged, if you will.
Oh, it was engorged, all right. I guess the makeup and the look of the zombies is kind of similar to those of 28 Days Later.
Yeah, sort of that rabid, almost like, I guess rabies is kind of like the basis for most disease that we see of the infected here. The running zombies. Was that the first instance of the running zombies? Or the first big one?
Yeah, and then Zack Snyder did his bullshit.
Well, I would argue against that because I'm a huge fan of 28 Days Later. I think that's like one of the premier zombie-esque movies, but these zombies are much more like calculated.
They have brains.
They literally can continue to perform like, because at the end of the movie, not to spoil anything, but one of the zombies is like two of the zombies are using guns. How often do you see this shit, you know?
They have some of their human facility, like, still in check, like their agency to act and choose to do things.
It's like in Day of the Dead with the, I always forget his name, but the
Bub.
guy who's chained to the wall. Bub, there you go.
I remember Bub.
See, I was going the other way. I was going to say, what is it, Diary of the Dead, where they have the big fucking tower.
I can't keep up with the
And
other
they have
Dead
John
stuff,
Leguizamo, another fucking John Leguizamo movie.
Man, Joey's knowledge of John Leguizamo.
Johnny Legs.
John Leguizamo is one of my favorite like actors. I love that guy.
I think he was Joy in another life. Also saw that the contact lenses they used to cover the actors that can cover their entire eyeballs and required eye drops every 5 minutes to reduce injuries. That had to be a pain in the ass on set.
That's brutal.
Got to be near fucking blind, right? If it's covering your entire eye.
Jim Carrey had the same issue in The Grinch. He couldn't see well out of those massive yellow contacts.
Did he deliver one hell of a performance, Joy?
This is a hell of a Christmas episode, you know? Check out Jack Frost, The Grinch.
Just tuck this episode under your podcast tree for December.
Last night I had was an homage. If you read the graffiti on the jail cell wall, one appears to say Romero, in reference to the original Crazies in 1973 and the director George A. Romero, which I thought was tasteful.
Georgia, he's a producer here, right? He's still alive when this comes out.
He's an executive producer, and God knows what that means.
That means he got some cash for it. He put up some money, got some back.
There you go.
Speaking of the money, $20 million budget. Box office was $54.8 million.
This was a success.
Pretty good.
That's worldwide, right?
Yeah, total box office there. George got some money back. Good for him.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't get like a straight to DVD sequel. Like I can see what they're bringing that worldwide. Why there wouldn't be a huge demand for a sequel, even though the movie kind of sets it up. But for straight to DVD, I think it could have been all right.
I think that error died in like 2005 because right here you start.
Oh no! This shit came out right before Walking Dead.
I'm talking about the straight to DVD sequel type stuff.
Oh fuck no! They still do this shit nowadays.
This is 2010, so like
straight
Netflix
to video,
takes over
VOD,
in
baby.
like what 2012. So now everything's streaming, so you don't get those like direct to video sequels anymore. Everything is like a reboot or a. What's the word I'm looking for? They do like a side story. It's a season of TV now.
Like a spinoff.
Feast got 2 sequels that looked god awful.
Yeah, that's right in 2005, right? So that's right before everything goes streaming.
True.
I think when everything goes streaming, you kind of get the whole MCU, the Marvelization of everything, where everything's a universe and everything's a franchise. So it has, if it's going to have a sequel, it's going to have 10 sequels, and they're all going to be interconnected universe type stuff. TV, everything becomes serialized, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Let's hop in to 2010's The Crazies.
Travis? Yeah? Kill the engine. There's Big plane, Russ.
Why's that?
Because we're right on top of it.
The film opens in Ogden Marsh, small town with its main street burned to the ground. We then cut to 2 days earlier. We get a Johnny Cash song, We'll Meet Again, along with a kid wearing a UNC shirt on Main Street. Dr. Judy Dutton allows her secretary Becca to leave work early for the big baseball game at the high school. Turns out the whole town loves baseball. The good doctor's husband, Sheriff David Dutton, and his deputy Russell have a chat with the principal before seeing the local drunk Roy walk onto the field with a loaded shotgun.
Roy don't fuck around, man. Roy's coming in hard.
Oh, Roy's coming in that shotgun. He's going to try to steal second base.
Are you motherfuckers calling him Roy? His name is
Rory.
Rory. Like Rory McIlroy.
Well, I'm calling him Roy as a fucking nickname.
It ain't fucking Roy, bro.
Like the damn dog food at Walmart.
Oh, Roy's. I remember that.
Look, I'm going to tell you something before we go any further. They got the whole white trash bangs look on the women fucking down, boy.
It's a little alarming at first. Well, this girl is how old with these bangs? What year was this?
No. Both of them got fucking bangs. Becca and Judy. They banged up.
I know. This is 2010. What are they doing? They got them 98 haircuts.
Apologies to all the small town women who love long bangs. Judy, played by, Rada Mitchell. Is that correct?
Fair enough.
Rada. I got
Okay,
Rada.
Rada. She was in Pitch Black and Man on Fire.
She was also in Silent Hill, which I don't have much memory of, but that was a big deal for
Underappreciated.
horror
Silent
movie
Hill.
video game adaptation there.
Thomas Jane's love interest in The Mist was also in Silent Hill.
Okay.
3 Degrees of Thomas Jane continues.
Fantastic. Yeah, she was the pilot of the Hunter Gratzner in 2000's Pitch Black. That movie was so fucking great. Or do I have nostalgia goggles on right now?
Probably.
Pitch Black is good. I did a rewatch maybe 5 years ago. It holds up. Riddick in general, I think, holds up.
That character in that universe is like so fucking dope, man.
Next up's Becca, played by Danielle Panabaker, and she was in 186 episodes of the CW modern classic, The Flash, along with the Friday the 13th remake.
This girl had one of those faces where the more I dug into her filmography, the more I realized I have no idea who she is, but she looks like someone. She has to, because she looks so familiar.
She looks like the rest of them. Yeah,
The rest of it.
best known to modern audiences is Caitlin Snow / Killer Frost from the DC's Arrowverse. That happens to that CW for some reason is like the only one that can put the fucking shows out.
I think Warner Brothers owns both of those.
Oh, that makes sense then. Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, all that bullshit. She was also on Justified for a few episodes. I mean, I've never seen the fucking show, but I know you guys like the shit.
I saw that
The
credit
Loving
pop.
Show.
I think she's only for like 2 episodes, 1 season or something.
It said 6 on IMDb.
Yeah, maybe I'm full of shit.
Not to fucking fact check you, none.
Oh, got him.
But
Got
got
him.
ass.
Next up is Russell, played by Joe Anderson. Man, I was digging deep here. He was in The Ruins and The Gray.
Dude, he was in Horns. You left out Horns.
He was in Horns.
Dude, he was in the
I've
TV
never
show
seen Horns.
Hannibal. What the fuck is wrong
Daniel
with y'all?
Radcliffe, bitch.
Never seen Hannibal, never seen Horns.
Hannibal and NBC. Always got to shout that out. Baby.
Using this movie as like a damn acting reel, he should get more work. Or should have
dude
got
was
more
great
work.
in this
I don't know if
movie,
he
dude.
fucking I don't know what to do with this, but he's really good in this movie. Like, why hasn't he booked more shit?
I remember liking him on the first watch in 2010, and after rewatching it, I still feel the same.
Oh yeah, going into this movie, I thought we was all gonna be just sucking on Timmy O's fucking big fat cock the whole
buddy.
time. But
Here we go.
Joe Anderson is like, he kind of stole the movie for me.
Well, next up is the big heavy hitter, the big swinger. That's David, played by Timothy Oliphant, who was in The Girl Next Door, Scream 2, Justified, and Deadwood.
Let me tell you something before we go any further.
Here we go.
There ain't been more movies. I don't think there's been another movie besides The Girl Next Door that I've enjoyed watching time and time and time again. For
How about that?
lack of a better word, privately, by
Quite
myself,
rewatchable.
by myself
Very
in a
much
closet
so.
in the bathroom. But yeah, this guy is big fan of his, right? All three of us.
Yeah, he's awesome. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's also fantastic in that. He is the Hollywood sheriff at this point. Like this is the go-to guy.
That's what he
I think
does.
he even
He's
played
in,
a sheriff in the Boba Fett series as well.
Why
Yeah,
does
the
he walk so
Mandalorian.
funny? Does anyone else notice that?
It's because he's so damn skinny, man.
He has
That's his
crazy
walk.
posture.
Yeah.
He has
That's his
the
walk,
super
though.
narrow hips. Not to get too much to the man's
Damn,
physique,
dog.
but
What?
he is literally like one of the skinniest
Here we go.
men I've ever seen on television.
I wish you would see him at a con and be like, "Man, what's going on with your hips, bro? You got them fucking.
Got some narrow ass hips.
You got some narrow.
I reckon
ass
you
hips,
couldn't
bro.
birth what is that shit line from Kingpin? She couldn't have more than 5 or 6 kids with those narrow hips.
Just fucking laughing all the time.
Timber the Elephant might be one of those guys I would leave my house to go to a con to meet.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely like to meet him in person.
Yeah, dude's fucking dope.
That's a
man.
short list.
I got a cool few like tidbits on this guy. If you don't mind me going a little bit off on him. Was considered for the role of Tony Stark in Iron Man.
I'm okay.
He's too cool, man. He's too nice.
He's too
think
serious.
you gotta have too much, a little bit of asshole in you to pull off
Yeah.
Stark.
But he also turned down the role of Dominic Toretto in the Fast
Oh,
and Furious.
Would have been 10 times better.
And how many
2001.
billions of dollars get shifted made around that one decision right there?
You imagine Timothy Oliphant being in 9 fucking Fast and Furious movies?
Nah, there's no way it becomes
No
a franchise like that.
fucking way. And the coolest little tidbit I found here, he's going to be appearing, and I think he's like third bill, in Noah Hawley's Alien Earth on FX.
Oh.
This is the Fargo creator.
Yeah, it's a
Show
prequel.
creator.
Yeah, it's a prequel set 3 decades before the events of the 1979 film. So I think that's going to be
cool.
fucking sick, bro. You know, FX has been like banger after banger after banger.
Yeah, they got some real capital to put into their stuff. I don't know.
Did you
if
ever get into Atlanta?
Yeah, I watched all of Atlanta. It's good. It's cerebral. There's some whack seasons in there, but it's a good show.
FX made it Justified, so he's got a relationship there for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna shout out Shogun. You could tell like they've got money and they're spending it on their product.
I got to
you know,
finish that
so.
shit. That
This is
might be the
good.
next thing I watch after I finish this rewatch of Game of Thrones. Did we talk about Dreamcatcher?
Oh shit,
Who
he wasn't
wants to talk
Dreamcatcher.
about
was
Dreamcatcher?
he?
Well, what the fuck, man?
Done
Huh?
it,
What
motherfucker.
about it?
I done it. I make a shitty
I've done
duke.
it.
That movie
Yes.
is so fucking good.
It was a weird ass movie. I remember mom taking me to watch that in theaters on my birthday. Like that was the movie I chose that year.
Dude, I love that shit. I think it's considered a bad movie by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm
I
positive that it
enjoyed
is.
the fuck out of that movie.
You got them goggles on, Billy.
And I hate to say it, guys. I hate to say it. Thomas Jane is in Dreamcatcher.
He is a Dreamcatcher. He's the main character.
He's the main
isn't he?
character, isn't he?
Are we pulling for him?
I gotta
Damian
go.
Lewis
I
is
know
in
the
there,
mid.
too.
You got the
Watch
mid.
that.
Damian Lewis is like
Damon Lewis? Is it Damon or
it's-
Damien?
Yeah, I think it's Damien or something like that. Everybody knows what the fucking red-headed guy from Band of Brothers. Everybody knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to. I want to fucking do a watch of that movie.
Well, no Joey's
we
next
might
pick.
be doing that next time it comes around. I know you brought up the principal. Have you guys kept up with the principal at all?
I looked at him. I didn't see anything.
The guy who played the principal is a dude by the name of Larry Sadar. Or it might be Cedar. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it. However, he plays like a couple of my favorite characters from television. He's Leon from Deadwood. So if you remember that guy, he's the heroin junkie from Deadwood. But he's only in a couple of these episodes too. Or it might be just one episode. Cornelius Hawthorne from Community. He plays Chevy Chase's father in the show. He's in like 1 or 2 episodes, but he has some of the funniest fucking lines.
Talking about the principal from here or or the mayor from this movie?
No, the principal. Yeah. He's
He
one of
doesn't
those
seem that
guys.
old.
He's one of those guys that's like, all right, I didn't really recognize this guy, but oh yeah, you were in that movie. He's like, he can fade into the background and still perform his role adequately. But was also in Demonic Toys and Fear and Loathing Las Vegas.
It does need to be, it's the last thing I'm going to say, and we can move on, is it needs to be studied how Timothy Olyphant was able to do Deadwood, The Crazies, Justified. Like to Chris's point, The Mandalorian, he's become Hollywood sheriff. And there's a through line through multiple franchises.
It's just, that's why Tarantino casts him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He plays another cowboy. Like, that's his thing.
It's like a modern day John Wayne, and nobody talks about it.
I think he's more like the Clint Eastwood build. That skinny, like I said.
Well,
He's got that Clint Eastwood build.
When they reboot Walker, Texas Ranger,
Boom.
Timothy Olyphant's name's going to be up in lights.
I don't think Timothy's that physical of a presence, though. He's a gun guy.
He can work out.
I think Chuck Norris spent like 50 years perfecting his martial art. But whatever, I digress.
David tries to talk Rory down, but ends up sending a bullet through his chest. A few days later, Rory's toxicology report comes back dry as a whistle. David was wrong about him being a drunk. Meanwhile, Judy examines a local man named Bill Farnham, who has the lights on, but no one is definitely home. Later that night, at the Farnham house, Deidre goes into the barn to see what her husband Bill is up to, leaving their son Nicholas behind. All Deidre finds is a running harvester in the barn. She hears Nicholas scream out in panic and finds him locked inside the house within a closet. Bill locks said closet, covers the house in gasoline, and sets it ablaze.
First things first, ain't no fucking way this Cro-Magnon looking ass bitch is hooking up with the great value brand Amy Adams.
Yep. Same note here.
Dude, no fucking way. Now, I can see him hooking up with like a Rhea Perlman type, but not that it's, I can't believe it's not Butter Amy Adams.
Really breaking down what this guy can bag.
Here was my quote. Bill ain't pulling down fake Amy Adams. Shout out to Christy Lynn Smith, who is the actress, because I was convinced watching the trailer that was Amy Adams. So my apologies, man.
Smoking hot.
She's so close to Amy Adams. It's just like an AI version of her. It's a little off.
I wouldn't kick her out of bed.
So to have a complete 2024 tie-in to reviewing this film, a show just got put on Netflix that is stayed in Netflix's top 10 shows for over a month, and that is Dexter. It is having a resurgence currently, which is very odd. We all love Dexter. The kid is Dexter's stepson, Cody.
Oh, in this movie, that was him in the closet?
In this movie. His name is Preston Bailey.
Damn, I didn't even place him.
Yeah, I noticed him really high on like the billing list for IMDb.
That's Cody.
He had a run, man. Showtime.
Do we have any hypotheses for why Bill is burning his family alive in a house?
Other than like the virus that I'm assuming is spread here.
I got a theory. All right, Cody, a.k.a. Nicholas, I think that's his actual name. He's playing a DS throughout the beginning of the movie.
I did see that Nintendo DS.
Nintendo DS. Here's what
the
I'm
dual
thinking.
screen, if you will.
The dual screen. He's got a DS Lite. It's actually like the rich version of the regular DS.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
He's got a stylus that pops out.
Hey, you know, Bill loves his family. So, but I mean, Bill loves him too much, apparently.
Bill had some money.
What I'm thinking is Bill is mad as fuck that Nicholas beat his fastest lap on Cheap Cheap Beach on Mario Kart DS. And this is how he's taking it out on his family.
Blue turtle shell, huh, motherfucker?
He's just pissed off. He's out there running that harvester every day for his family. He's got the Dollar General version of Amy Adams. He's fucking pissed off.
That's the only thing that gets him hard anymore. He's got the ED. He's got to run that harvester all night. The smell of the harvester just fucking gets his gourd fucking strong.
The three hunters come across a dead pilot in the marshlands, which sends David and Russell in search of the bog to find a massive plane under the water. The camera zooms out to a computer screen that reads, "Initiate containment protocol." What did you think about it happens multiple times in the film where the screen comes out and it's clearly a computer screen that looks kind of outdated.
Like satellite imagery, and they're zooming out to the actual Google Earth look of the whole situation.
I thought it was pretty effective in showing that this early on that the government's going to have a big hand in how the events like unfold for the rest of the movie.
Definitely gave you that big brother eye in the sky, I feel. It reminded me a lot of Belko Experiment.
Belko
If you guys
Experiment,
remember how that was playing out.
Oh,
How
that's
it
a good
felt
point,
like
yeah.
we were initiating protocol. Like we knew more about the situation than the characters. The dramatic irony of what was going to happen. It kind of foreshadows how the movie ends, you know.
After speaking with the public works director, David realizes that the town water supply flows from the bog. The mayor will not give the order to shut off the water, so David takes action into his own hands. At the station, Bill has completely turned into a monster. The town has lost cell service and all traces of connection to the outside world. David races inside the funeral home, finds the mortician Jim, who is trying to kill him with a bone saw. However, David is able to turn the tide and kill Jim with said bone saw.
Look, at this point, the bodies of the Farnham family, Deidre and Nicholas, are here at the morticians.
Oh, they're crispy.
Oh, they're fucking actually. I'm thinking
Deep fried.
Mortician Jim couldn't help himself and had to try some of that jerky, that smoked jerky, and he caught the bug.
Damn. He said, little Cody ain't going to miss a pinky finger. Let me just...
It's such a cool fucking like sequence of events right here too, because it shows the mortician is like still performing his job, but he's doing it in a way that's like super fucked up. Like he has Rory's body and he carves like X's into his eyes. He's got a priest that I guess works at the funeral home or some shit, and he's like got his mouth sewed up like see no evil, hear no evil type, or see no evil, speak no evil type deal. Definitely love the imagery of this.
Behind you.
Yeah, it's got like a brain rot situation going on here. I don't know. I'm sure we've all done it before, but had a recent example of like a brain fart the other day. My son was trying to get some water out of like a tap. Like you tap it and you put the cup under it, right? And he does it and he's holding the cup. He hits the tap before he even puts the cup under it. You know, like sometimes you got everything set up. You're just not thinking like the right order to do things. And that's kind of how this comes across. Like this guy's sewing up bodies before they're even dead. Like his brain's just like like a permanent brain fart going on or something.
If I could back up, because I did gloss over it, I had a little nitpick moment that I just thought was hilarious. When they're in the boat and they're driving to find the plane somewhere in the swamplands, Russell keeps asking, like, where's this fucking plane at? I don't see a plane.
Oh, God. Yeah,
And Timothy
bad.
goes,
It's so bad.
Timothy goes, stop the engine. We're already over top of it. And if it zooms out, and there is a whole side of the plane
There's a
sticking
fucking
out of the
propeller
water.
sticking out of the goddamn water. They're all shocked that they're hovering over this submerged boat or submerged plane that it ain't even fucking submerged. There's an entire engine sticking out of the water.
Tim's got the gift. I think Tim, go ahead and throw it out here early in the movie, is a little overpowered in this movie. He's a little
AKA
OP.
David.
Dave is a little OP. He kind of gets like too much cool shit. He's a little too smart, a little too nice for quite a bit of this for me, honestly.
He's got the Mary Sue shit going on for sure.
Yeah.
Or Marty Sue. What would you call it? Marty Sue? What do you fucking call it when it's
He's
a
the
dude?
sheriff, so he's responsible for this whole county, but he's only concerned with this one fucking town.
He's the chosen one.
Is this the only town in the county?
I think that is implied, and also I'm with you on being confused because at one point Russell calls him chief, so I'm like, okay, he's the police chief.
Yeah.
But then later on he calls him sheriff.
I'm the goddamn sheriff, and this is my deputy.
So,
Man.
yeah.
Before we leave the mayor, how awesome did that guy look getting out of his pool?
That was delicious.
Well, you
That boy
gonna
looked
talk
like a
shit
tick.
about this man who's living a life of luxury?
He's being an
Just
asshole
'cause
talking
he
about how
He's a
the
mayor.
water's fine, man.
He's
just fucking
looking out for his people.
this lily white ass just toweling off right there in front of just throwing it in his face, man.
I did like the irony that he was swimming in a swimming pool and they were trying to shut the water off.
Yeah, that was funny.
Look, just like the mayor said and made a great point, this is a farming community, and it's planting season. If you don't water your crops, you have no fucking crops to sell and no crops to eat.
But the point was, water's so precious to this fucking guy, he just swims in it. He's not worried about the crops. Motherfucker's the mayor. He don't care. Water is a luxury for him.
And not to get too deep in the weeds, but if you know anything about local structure, the mayor is a fucking mascot. the town manager is the one making the decisions.
Right, yeah. It's probably someone who's actually doing things of import other than pretending to be in charge of the community.
Yeah.
I did like the bone saw scene too. Though. Thought that was a little Leatherface shout out there.
When it was skating across the floor towards his fucking dick.
Gotta get them nuts. He just sat there. I was like, I would have hopped my ass up immediately.
It went from being a bone saw to a boner saw.
He gave it like 5 little skids before he was like, oh, fuck, what do I do next?
Well, here we have the first example of
hip thrust, baby.
Of what Russell would do for the rest of the movie. And that's save fucking David from mutilation or death.
I think Russ is the real cop here, man.
At the Dutton homestead, David and Judy are grabbed by armed military officers, placed onto a school bus with Russell, and are then driven to a makeshift quarantine camp at the high school. All 3 of them are separated. David is shipped to Quick Fill's gas station, where multiple buses are ready to ship the uncontaminated out of town. Back at the camp, the townfolk turn on the military and overrun the asylum. Judy is strapped to a gurney near Becca when the principal of all people shows up with a trusty pitchfork. The principal starts sending the pitchfork through multiple people. However, David and Russell show up to do some of that sweet-ass police work that Chris referenced and save both Judy and Becca.
Fucking gangsters.
So this whole time, Judy's using this I'm pregnant shit. That's the reason
I
I'm sick.
didn't bring it up.
Oh my God. Women be milking the fuck out of this I'm pregnant shit.
I think her life is at stake here, Joy.
Look, like, bitch, that ain't a shield. That little monster inside your belly, it can turn out to be a little rage demon too, okay?
It could also be another Timothy Oliphant, Joy. You can have more.
How about that?
You can have a Justified reboot or another season of Deadwood in 30 years.
That would actually be kind of dope.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Her being pregnant just kept seeming like it was a rewritten, force-fed metric of the film.
I kind of felt that way too, but I think it is the only thing that adds the stakes to this movie that keeps David like as a rogue agent. I think otherwise he's just going to fall in line. He has no other reason to rebel.
Well, then that's on the director because it wasn't a staple.
If she really wanted to get out of this, instead of saying I'm pregnant, she should have just said, I don't have insurance. All right, fuck it. What did you guys feel about the pitchfork insane? I feel like that's
fucking
poster,
sick.
Right?
That whole sound of the pitchfork being dragged across the floor with the gore coming off of it. Oh my God.
This dude was like he was triple tapping people. I was like, fuck, I don't remember it being this gross.
This may be an odd connection, but it kind of reminded me of Evil Dead with how the laughing people on gurneys before they got killed. That's kind of the Evil Dead slapstick comedy.
Some of that deadite thrown in there.
I think it goes what you just said, it goes a long way to showing just how far gone these people are that are infected. And like, this is just the beginning stages of infection too. So I guess at this point we can anticipate it being a lot worse in the coming days.
I know we kind of talked about like the agency of these quote unquote crazies, like why they do what they do. Like, are they acting out like in like the id version of somebody? Like if somebody's annoying me, I just want to go stab them, so they just go do it. They have a desire to feed. And this scene here kind of outlines a stage of that. And again, it gets more advanced as the movie goes on. There's got to be some kind of like commentary here that we're not thinking about. Obviously, it's not COVID. If it made it now, it would be COVID. But
no. There's definitely social commentary and like what people will do to survive, and also like how the government will respond in this sort of situation.
Do you think this is an anti-government emergency?
I think the original. All right, did you guys watch the original in preparation for this movie?
I have not.
I have not.
I went and I watched the original. The original is much more of like a
obviously like a commentary.
Yes, it has very, very apparent correlations between like how the government would proceed and how violent they will be. I mean, this movie has that same thing too, but it's much more obvious in the original.
I feel like that's like the Romero style, right? Like Dawn of the Dead, you think about anti-consumerism, and
like the original is much more about like the actual military and the government, and this movie is much more about the actual crazies themselves.
Do you think that's a detriment to a movie like this? We lean more into the plot mechanics as opposed to the message.
I feel like
of the original?
it's much more. It appeals much more to a generic moviegoer, like the way this movie
It doesn't have quite the staying power of the original, though.
I don't think it makes much more of a statement. Like, I feel like for somebody that's a fan of horror and likes to look into stuff instead of just like I do with fucking brain dead watching shit, you're gonna appreciate the remake much more than you will the original. Not to knock the original. The original's fine. However, it feels kind of disjointed. It has that Romero style for sure.
The four of them begin to make their way through the town as it burns. They come across the three hunters from earlier just flat out killing folks for the sport. They continue through the town, coming across Becca's boyfriend Scotty's house. He is still alive, but not for long, as the military kills both him and his mom and then torches their asses after. David works with one of the military guys who lets them go without sounding the alarms. The group presses on to come across the Dutton family homestead.
That flamethrower was fucking wicked, bro.
I thought about not talking about Scotty, but the flamethrower was badass.
Scotty doesn't know. That motherfucker got toasted, bro. That flamethrower looked badass. Like, I don't know how many flamethrowers I've seen in movies over the 30 plus years of my life, but this one looked, I don't know what about it. The way it was shot, maybe from a distance,
it was legit
looked
flamethrower. Like it had a fucking 15-foot stream of napalm or whatever coming out of it.
The way they shot it from like the perspective in the barn, you get like the wide angle, looked fucking gnarly, dude.
And I hate to say it, but it was kind of the spontaneity of it because they mow Scotty down and then mow his mom down.
Yeah,
and then out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, just like it's just protocol at this point. Like they're literally going through the motions of what they're supposed to do. To them, it's nothing, but us as viewers seeing it for the first time in the movie, it's like, man, this is fucking sick.
And I think another factor that kind of just hit me is the way it's framed. Is it's shot at night too, so it's like so fucking bright in that dark.
It lights up the night
front
sky,
yard.
yeah.
It's nuts, dude. I was amazed like how invested I was in that little bit of action there.
Yeah, the contrast from because the movie just looks kind of, the way the movie looks, like the color saturation, it just looks off. It doesn't look off in a bad way. It looks off in a way that makes you feel like uneasy. Like you have a sense of foreboding, like while you're watching the movie because of the color palette. And then you have this bright yellow, red, orange flame pop up out of seemingly nowhere. But yeah, visually, it's gorgeous.
I feel like a lot of films around this time had this weird look to them, the blue hues.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's after that Zack Snyder, Dawn of the Dead type of like hyperactivity. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but it's just there.
It's a certain palette that seems like it's almost in use for like 5 years there with every movie of this type.
Thank God we moved on from that.
Did you guys hear that Zack Snyder's got a director's cut coming out of Rebel Moon?
You killing me. You killing
I
me.
haven't spent a minute with that franchise yet, so I guess I'll just
Shout
watch
out.
the director's cut.
Shout out my boy Raul. He's fucking all about this shit, dude.
This was a straight-to-streaming movie he made.
Netflix.
Yeah, but it was like a
How the
failed. It was a
hell?
failed Star Wars like plot.
Exactly. How did he not have Final Cut? It's Netflix. Like, you can make the shit 5 hours long. People watch
I
it.
think he's just got this thing in his mind that if he releases a director's cut of anything, it's going to be successful.
Double his profits. That's all he's worried about.
I know at least one person is going to fucking watch it.
Isn't the first one long?
I'm sure it's at least 3 hours.
You want 4 hours of this movie?
I don't know, dude.
Okay.
Getting back to this movie, I did like the bit here with the soldier where they re-release him. You're not going to blab, right? Because I had some memory of the movie, but I can't remember how this exact sequence played out.
That's the thing. How else would it play out? And like, there's no other way. Yeah.
I thought it was like, all right, maybe he rats him out and we lose Becca and everyone else escapes or something, you know?
Oh, not yet. Becca's going to stick around a little bit longer.
So in that scene, I was confused because I think we're supposed to interpret that they know this soldier. They don't say his name and they don't really have any like connection other than just the fact that it looks like they know him.
What do you mean, the way they interact with him?
Like they take his mask off and like, oh, it's you. I think they even say that possibly. And it's like, okay, so this is a guy from the town or?
That didn't register with me if that's the
Yeah,
case. I just thought it was like Timothy being instantly connected to everybody. But like he talks to everybody like he's their best friend.
Instantly a hero.
He's super powered, dude. I'm telling you.
That and they don't have
Timothy
time to
Oliphant.
fucking waste introducing themselves. It's like, okay, we have you captured. You're at my mercy. What the fuck are you doing here? Why are y'all killing us? Why are y'all doing this shit?
Well, he did say, "I'm the sheriff. This is my deputy. This is the situation. You're gonna shut your fucking mouth, and we're gonna get out of here."
Yeah, I think he's saying all that just to show him that, hey, I'm not full of shit. If I say, you know, I'm gonna let you go, I'm gonna keep my word. I expect you to keep your word.
He's saying, look, I'm not cosplaying as a sheriff. I am a sheriff.
Even though I'm known for cosplaying as sheriffs in multiple universes.
The way Russell is so like against giving the soldier back his weapon too.
He wanted that AR, baby. He was like, this thing feels fucking dope, bro.
We haven't really talked a lot about how great Russell has been in this movie, but he's really, really, really fucking good.
He's about to turn it up a notch too.
Yeah, he's been super cop so far, and he tends to skew more towards pessimism than our boy Dave does.
At the Dutton homestead, Judy begins to pack some essential items, but gives the nursery for their soon-to-be baby a final look. David then finds her in the nursery, tied up, and then he is strangled by the son and wife of the drunk Rory from earlier in the film. David is able to kill the wife with a knife they placed in his hand, and Russell kills the son by shooting him through the bedroom fucking window.
Dude, I love how you
Skills,
say
baby.
placed in his hand. They fucking stabbed him in his hand while he was flat on the ground. And
They just
then
placed it.
they had that was such a fucking cool kill, man.
Smack that bitch, man.
Smack
her
that
with a knife
bitch in
hand.
the fucking neck with the knife
He
hand.
Wolverine her ass. Yeah, I did like that. That was a cool bit there. And then Russ going fucking commando, Billy Zane sniper through the window, doming that kid.
I did appreciate the drama of him being basically nailed to the floor and screaming at the woman of like, "Look at me, bitch!"
Yeah, which was
That's
threatening the wife.
premier Oliphant acting right there.
As he was being choked too, so he had like the aggressive like grunt to his voice, which is like much deeper octave than we're used to from Timmy. But I knew he was gonna say like, "I'm the one that killed that piece of shit, bitch," and he finally gets to that eventually.
That scene was much more sinister than we're really even given credence to. They're not actively trying to kill David in that moment. They're making David watch as they kill his wife the same way they watched David kill, their husband, their father.
Rory.
It's such a good fucking scene, man. Might be the best scene in the movie, honestly.
You have the kids' mobile spinning over the crib as well, so you got like the nursery rhyme playing in the background too.
Oh man, dude, that knife kill was like some John Wick shit. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, just smack a bitch with a damn knife hand.
Insta kill too.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. I was confused when he got up there and she was tied up for a second. I was like, what fucking movie are we watching again? Again, like
Come
I said,
on, David.
The agency of these quote unquote crazies, it's changing throughout the movie. Obviously, there's some vengeance tied into whatever's left of these people's brains, and that's what they're acting on here. It's very interesting.
They're calculated, they're ruthless. There's no inhibitions at all.
Yeah, it's like the worst parts of you coming out because you have permission to now, because it's like the ego and the superego have been scrubbed out of your brain. It's all reptile.
To kind of harp it back to Romero, Dawn of the Dead, one of my favorite films, his concept was obviously consumerism, and people, when they're dead, just go to the mall because that's like their happy place.
Just feel nothing by going here, yeah.
And the Crazies, they flip that, and it's like, let's go to where we hate everything.
It's cool. It's a cool concept. It's definitely something I don't think this movie gets enough shine because it's the unique idea of this movie to me.
Russell comes up to the nursery to send a few more rounds into the two dead bodies. They all climb inside an old police cruiser and continue the journey out of town. The crew pulls into a car wash to hide from a chopper. The workers attack the car and pull Becca out to hang her from the roof of the car wash. Everyone gets out of the car to try to save Becca, and in turn, the chopper sends a rocket through the police cruiser that slowly rolls out of the car wash. That was effective as hell.
Hit him with the fucking Predator missile. That shit was so,
Caught in a fucking Call of Duty airstrike.
The dude popping up from being on, like, because they think they're, home free once they're leaving, and the crazy popping up from the roof and wrapping that water hose around Becca's neck. We ain't really talked about it, but the jump scares in this movie are super effective, and they don't feel like cheap either.
I feel like we always talk about jump scares in regards to a proper jump scare should affect the character and not the audience.
Yeah, that's true.
And all of these affect the character.
It's a very tense situation. Like from the moment that, Timothy shoots the guy in the outfield of a damn baseball game, the tension is there. So every character is like is nervous for the rest of the movie. So it makes sense that they would be more susceptible to shit like this. People popping up. What about her getting choked like that though? What the hell was that guy's intent? That was my thinking. He just really wanted to fucking hang somebody. Like, he had that damn movie
Oh,
script.
man. This dude was a rival of Scotty's.
Oh, here we go.
This dude was a rival of Scotty's, and she done rejected him a few times.
That's a cruel way to do it, man. That's all I'm saying. He
Struck.
came fucking prepped. He just tying nooses at the car wash, just waiting.
Also, there's a lot of people that work at this damn car wash for it to be an automatic car wash.
Yeah, it was a hell of a crew on board there.
Timothy's face, or David's face, sorry, when the rocket hits the police cruiser was great acting from just a facial recognition.
And even that, it's kind of a jump scare in itself when the rocket hits, because I didn't feel it coming, and it's just boom. Fuck, dude.
And that chopper just keeps on just kind of flying away calmly.
Completely unfeeling, unemotional. And we kind of skipped over the fact that after Russ had double tapped the two dead bodies, he kind of had a little bit of that crazy in his eye.
Yeah, at this point, he's becoming much more aggressive. He's becoming much more violent in his approach to dealing with
These fucking crazies.
his fellow
Tired
man.
of all these motherfucking crazies in this motherfucking town.
While they're cruising the strip, Becca starts coughing, and Russell's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we got to
this bitch
we got to throw her out."
What are we gonna do about this bitch? He's like, chill. He's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Oh, he's on edge for
Don't
sure.
lose your head. What the fuck does that mean? Dude's eyes were killer, man. Something about his, like, especially when he starts to lose his mind here. His eyes are crazy.
What, you trying to fucking suck?
Dude has some beautiful eyes, man. Look
How
up a
about
picture
that?
of him.
He got lost.
No doubt about that.
The three of them now continue to walk down the road and see a black SUV heading their way. Russell uses road spikes to send the vehicle airborne several times. David interrogates the official inside, who tells them that the plane was carrying a biological weapon that was meant for an incinerator in Texas. Russell shoots the official in the head before David can learn anything else. Russell is turning by the minute, but the couple allows him to walk with them anyway because, as we've said it, David's just a good dude.
They have like an exchange showing that, hey, there's still part of Russell in there, and he's fighting whatever this sickness is.
That was a big old catfish.
This whole exchange with the intelligence officer, you're thinking, man, this might be some nefarious government did this shit on purpose to, test the effects of they call it Trixie, and they do that in the original as well, but that's the biological weapon.
Hillbilly lab rats.
But you think it's something nefarious, like, oh, they're using them as lab rats. It's not that at all. It's a big fucking whoopsie daisy from the government that's got them in this predicament.
It's going to be an accident just because somebody fucked up and pressed the wrong button at some point.
Yeah, but I think the government response in this movie is exactly how it would be in real life.
At the very end, we do get a piece of how the news covered this situation.
How it's handled in the media, if you will.
Yeah, that was interesting.
You educate me on that because I don't remember hearing that part.
I loved when Russ was setting the spikes and shit. This dude was so fucking happy to be like almost killing somebody.
Wait,
he didn't even know who they
It
were.
was retribution because apparently his vehicle from earlier had the same shit done to it, and he was pissed off about that.
He was just filled with glee as he's sprinting around this fucking highway, throwing out spikes, going over here, doming this fucking guy. This dude was like in his element
Hit him
for
with
5
the
minutes.
eye for an eye.
He threw those spikes out. He looked so damn
He was
happy.
like, yeah, motherfucker.
The three of them come across a military checkpoint. Russell creates a diversion for David and Judy to work around it. And in turn, Russell plays hero and lets the military mow him down. That was pretty sad. I'm not
Rest
gonna
in peace, Russ. Very shitty diversion. We got to say that, though. I don't know how much diversion he made. He was just like, yeah, fucking shoot me. Then he gets shot.
His last words was so fucking dope, man. Fuck you for what you did. Talking about the military.
David and Judy finally make it to Quick Fills, where not a soul can be found. They find everyone that was there the night before shot and burned in cargo trailers surrounded by empty bullet casings. David grabs more supplies, including a Quick Fill Zippo lighter. While heading for a semi-truck, he comes across the hunter's truck from earlier full of bodies. David and Judy make a run for the semi-truck. One of the hunters grabs David's leg and pulls him under the service pit. He kills him by setting him on fire with the oil and the Zippo lighter. Judy is able to kill one of the hunters with David's pistol.
So is Quick Fill like the equivalent of Sheets?
I think so. Or, well,
It's more truck stoppy, right?
it's more like a Love's.
What's the, Love's is probably right. The ones you always see on the highway with the big ass section for truckers to pull off, where the lot lizards and shit
A
are.
lot of lizards come back here and do some suck.
I don't know if Love's is in Iowa, but they're on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing this way. Did you guys notice the big ass display of Monster energy drinks inside of?
Oh, product placement. Let's go.
Tip the
I did
cap.
not see that.
It was a big ass pallet. I've never seen a pallet of Monster Energy, but it was right there when he first walked
Look,
in.
that's probably some fucking shit in my brain from seeing that's making me drink a Monster Energy right now.
Exactly.
It's just like
what I was thinking of.
it just hit that certain chord. I didn't even know it. I didn't even realize it. Now here I am drinking Monster.
Obviously, none of us are semi-truck drivers. And I've been in a couple of Loves through just traveling the country. I don't remember Love's having a full-service tire center, full restaurant, full clothing section. This is a massive gas station. That's what I'm trying to say.
This is a one-stop shop.
Yeah, they hyped the hell out of this place like throughout the movie. Like it's just like the place to go in town. Like it's like their only restaurant or whatever. It seems like.
I
It's
wonder
like a
if this
gift
is their
shop.
version of like Walmart.
Closest we can get to a Walmart.
It was effective, the multiple trailers full of burned bodies. So if David would have stayed, he would just be another dead body in the trailer.
I was a little leery about him starting a fire underneath the vehicle he's about to get into.
Had the same thought.
I was like, is this the best idea here, Dave?
So the hunters we see here, they're like the first fully mutated, active, crazers that we see
super
in full
crazies.
makeup and all that shit. How fucking dope did that stuff look, man?
They look cool. The big guy under the truck is like the final boss. He had
Mhm.
like all the cool makeup.
It looks so dope.
I feel like he's the one we've all seen if you look up the Crazies. That's the picture that you get.
That's like your YouTube thumbnail, probably, if you've clicked on a clip of the movie. So those guys were spotted earlier in the movie when we first get into the streets, like hauling dead bodies and throwing them in the rear of their truck, right?
Yeah. Well, we see them the very first of the movie in the bog. They're the ones that find the downed pilot who's like drowned.
Right. And they're the ones who knocked the fence out at the encampment, right?
Yeah.
So were those guys like competent in control of their own actions when they were out there fucking killing crazies?
Oh, they're legit like using guns and shit. So
they're like of their own mind when they're doing that earlier in the movie, right?
I think they've kind of devolved to like baser instincts. Because they're talking about when they kill that guy out in the street, they talk about how good he's going to look dressed. And that's pretty much talking about how you would treat game.
And my question, I guess, is: are they already gone at that point, or are these just some sick fuckers?
Oh,
who are getting
they're
off
gone
on
at that point.
finally having the opportunity to do some shit they've always wanted to do.
Like they're really fucking excited about that kill shot they have on that guy.
But they're conversational. They're still vocalizing
Oh yeah.
how they feel about it. So they still have some iota of control at that point, right?
Yeah.
David and Judy escape the gas station moments before the military drops a bomb on the small town. The bomb's force turns over the semi-truck, but the couple are okay. They continue to walk towards Cedar Rapids, Iowa, while the military are still tracking them from the sky. The end.
That wasn't just a fucking bomb. That was a fucking nuke,
It was
brother.
a nuke, dog.
Yeah, it was a nuke.
That was
That was
Nuketown.
that was a Call of Duty 4 aftermath mission. R.I.P. Sergeant Jackson fucking nuke.
Boom.
No more Ogden Marsh.
After we had finished the movie, I was like, damn, that was in the trailer. Like the last
Yeah,
shot
they did.
was in the trailer. Fuck, dude.
That fucking shit looked like Xbox 360 graphics. Coming back.
Yeah, that looked pretty rough.
It was a little
I'm gonna
rough.
lie.
It was a little rough. It was 2010.
Shit.
What GTA was GTA 5 2010?
That shit looks really good though.
That's true. I'm trying to think of a comp there.
To your point, Chris, the fact that David knows how to drive a semi truck this efficiently is a little overpowering.
They even give Timmy like a glory shot of him just rocking the clutch like it's fucking nothing. I'm like, that looks way too easy.
Smooth as butter.
Yeah, he can do that, but he's struggling so bad to find them fucking keys, man. You know, all these people talk shit about push start vehicles, about how they're kind of dumb because you have to have a key fob. Dude, the key cucks, they're, who's laughing now, you know?
Got their asses.
But to your point, Joy, from earlier, the movie ends, credits roll, and at some point happens at the credits, we get a shot of a newsroom and the broader media, the machine, as they say.
Oh, so this is like a actual scene and not just like audio?
Yeah, it's his actual scene.
Oh, shit.
It was news footage of like a big city reporter.
Yeah, what happened?
They chalk it up to being, what was it, Chris? Like it's like a climate thing or something?
Yeah, they said that there was an explosion, or they're trying to figure out the determining factor in a fire that triggered an explosion in this city. And there was also an explosion at a nearby gas station, blah, blah, blah. All under investigation.
Sounds like the government gonna sweep some shit under the rug. Or sweep an entire town under a rug.
This is 2010, though, man.
Well, the movie's good about this kind of stuff because it has like it opens with chemtrails in the fucking sky, and you know how hot of a topic that is amongst people.
Oh, chemtrails. Some Alex Jones mess.
Here we go.
The turn of the friggin' frogs gay.
All the frogs are so gay.
Everybody always talks about the damn frogs with that dude.
That dude is
Anyway.
fine.
It's the work of the devil.
What piece of memorabilia from the Crazies would you two boys want in your homes?
This is going to be the most boring pick I've ever had on this show ever. The pitchfork that Cornelius Hawthorne, a.k.a. Principal Sandboard, is going around executing people with. I think
It's literally on the poster, dog.
I think it's the easy pick, and it's the boring pick, but I think it's the safest pick.
You gonna be mulching your garden beds?
No, that's for if I need to go out there and unblock up the creek.
Or execute any crazies that may be laying in his driveway.
I did have a snake out there the other day. A pitchfork probably wouldn't be good for a snake,
You can scoop him and toss him.
but I got like a 1 out of 4 shot of hitting them.
I'm going to go even more boring than that. You can have all your weapons of violence and depravity. I want that I Heart Iowa sweater. That thing looked cozy as fuck.
I thought about that.
It looked good.
It don't even get cold enough around here to wear a fucking sweater, Chris.
I feel like I could get all like the members of Slipknot to sign it, and it would be really fucking
That'd be
dope.
dope. Is there enough room on the fucking sweater?
There's 9 of them, right?
Shit.
We can
there's
do the back if we
19
need to.
members.
I am going to take, I didn't even talk about the scene, but there's a scene in this film where David's using a plane to fix what looks to be just like a warped board on his porch. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Oh,
But
yeah,
he's
he's waxing
wearing-
that shit.
God damn, I don't know. That big ass piece of wood. What's he making? A goddamn boat? Is he making another plane to go find the plane?
Something for the baby, right? Some kind of crib extension. I don't know.
So you want a planer is what you want.
No, hold on. Let me finish, David.
I want a fucking planer, dog.
I have a plane. He's wearing a shirt that says Ogden Marsh on it with like varsity lettering. I want that shirt so I can show up at like my local bar and nobody has no fucking idea what Ogden Marsh is. And I get to talk about.
I think you more so want it just so you can smell this motherfucker's sweat.
I want that exact shirt that he's wearing.
I bet he took a dump wearing this. It smells fantastic.
With that, what did you fellas have for final thoughts about the Crazies?
I love the pacing. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're asking yourself what the fuck is going on, and you're invested in finding out. It sets the tone early for the madness to come. Also love the setting of a small town. Being from and actually living in one myself, I can attest firsthand that 2010's The Crazies captures that rural community feeling very well. Dope makeup, dope practical effects, great atmospheric tension, effective jump scares, interesting social commentary, made even more relevant to modern times after 2020. RIP COVID. Probably my favorite part of the movie is just watching Timothy Olyphant and Joe Anderson act. They do such a fantastic job in their roles, particularly Joe Anderson as Russell. It's not often in this genre, and by saying this genre, I'm kind of pigeonholing the Crazies as a zombie flick, but it's not often you see an infected character develop over the course of an entire movie and create such an interesting plot thread that it overshadows the plot of the entire movie. And in my opinion, the relationship between David and Russell does just that. Out of respect for the source material, I gave George A. Romero's 1973 original a first-time watch to see how 2010 holds up, and the remake hung in there punch for punch, making the case for that rare instance where the remake can be considered better than the original. 2010's The Crazies grades out with a B.
Yeah, this movie was a fun revisit for me. Like Joey said, small town USA up on the silver screen is always something cool to see, especially when it actually clicks and characters you can identify with, coming from that kind of a locale ourselves. I'll put a few negative Nancy notes out there. Tim is just little bit too nice for me here, a little bit overpowered. I mentioned it throughout the movie. Still love the guy, still one of my favorite working actors. I'll pay to see anything he does next. Not a knock on him, just this one particular character. I think it's kind of interesting that this movie dropped in February of 2010. Justified began in March of 2010. Imagine that, back to back for Timmy there. So this essentially felt like an audition for the Raylan character in a way. If anybody spent any time with Justified, you can really see what Tim does when he gets time to chew up scenery as the same type of character, which definitely got better over time. So shout out to him, all the flowers, all that good stuff. That being said, Joe Anderson was fucking great here. He was just the right kind of dirty, nasty, tactical, human cop character that I just really liked. I love this dude's eyes. If you get the chance, just look up a Google image of this guy's eyes. Beautiful stuff. Effects were great, and I really, really, really like the idea of the hyper-aware and realistically diseased, quote-unquote, zombies, for lack of a better word. Also got a shout-out. One of the last shots of the movie that truly warmed my heart. You can't see it, but there's a poster right behind my computer here of the end of a movie called Fight Club. And I definitely feel like they were leaning into that imagery with Timothy and his lady holding hands watching the nuclear explosion going off. I thought that was really fucking cool. I really like them walking through the fields afterwards before we kind of pull the camera out too. I think that's kind of the more endearing image for me. So with all that said, Mr. Brick Eisner can leave my classroom with a solid B for his work in 2010's The Crazies.
The Crazies is a film that I remember loving when we all left the theaters on opening night back in 2010. This was, for the most part, my introduction to Timothy Olyphant being a true leading man. I had previously enjoyed his work in smaller roles within Scream 2 and The Girl Next Door. The Crazies showed me at least that he could be the future leading man that we all have come to love. The other characters are decently developed. However, the side plot of Judy being pregnant just came across as forced for the most part, although I understand its purpose. I enjoyed Russell just as much as I did during the first watch. However, after watching over 80 horror films for this show with a more critical eye, this film, of course, has its downfalls. The directing is all over the place, and the pacing seems too fast at points and then too slow in others, in my opinion. I wish we could have gotten more horror elements that took place during the night. For the most part, this film is shot in broad daylight, which can be effective, but let's go back to Anaconda. Let's just hide some shit. With all that being said, I still really enjoy this film, and I am so glad that I picked it after all these years. I give it a B.
Let's talk about a little game we invented here called the Mater Meter at the Horrible Film School. Taking a guess at the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Hootie, not part of the game, just between Joseph and myself. But within 5 points, the stake is to choose our next film. Otherwise, we get flushed right down that toilet to see what the internet serves up for us. Mr. Joseph guessed this would be a 63%. I said an 80%. Who do you want to throw a guess out there while we're shits and giggling it right now?
I really enjoyed it, man. I'm going to say, you said 80, 74.
Oh, he thought it was a 74. The actual audience score in Rotten Tomatoes for The Crazies is a 57.
Whoa!
Oh shit! I just missed out like a
Wah,
point.
wah, wah. Yeah, a little bit of duty in our drawers there, buddy. Sorry.
What?
The thing is, from the fucking trailer, it's a zombie movie. The movie doesn't play out like a zombie movie.
They weren't eating any brains, man.
No one's eating brains.
Okay.
No one's eating ass. It's just fucking
Brains and ass, yeah. You can tell how hungry Joey is right now. He would eat brains
Dude,
and
I'm
ass if it was on a
you
plate
don't
in front of
fuck
him.
I got 3 more days of this shit. I'm so fucking hungry, bro.
You're not going to eat for 3 days? What the fuck's wrong with you?
No. I'm doing my 5-day again like I did.
Look at that's healthy. Tomorrow morning, go down to the airport drive-in and get the brains and eggs special.
Get a little ass on the side.
I got damn Banner sausage in the fucking
Oh,
cabinet. If
God.
I want something disgusting, I'll just crack that open.
I think we've had more commercials for Banner sausage on this fucking podcast than in the history of any
Man,
sort
I was
of
trying
broadcast.
to describe Banner sausage to somebody the other day. I said it was like literally fucking delicious dog food.
It's like if you fed gross sausage to a pig and then
You're
they
so
shit it out.
fucking
And then
crazy.
that's
That
the
shit
Banner
is
sausage.
good, bro.
It's duty sausage, boy.
It's so nasty.
All right, moving on. So yeah, we failed to win, failed our own game there, boys. So we are moving back
So
to the
stupid.
random wheel. Due to spin that wheel and see what the internet spits out for us to cover on our very next episode here at the Horrible Film School.
The wheel has been spun.
Let's give that boy a spin, shall we? Looks like Mr. Wes Craven is going to be filling our headspace once again, going back to 1991. Is this the year you were born, Hootie?
This is my birth year, boys.
Oh, shit. 1991's The People Under the Stairs. I got like 2 vague memories of this in my head. I don't think I ever sat with it in any form of adulthood, so it's kind of a blind spot.
This was on a lot in my childhood, and I have no idea why.
All right, folks, we're going to watch the trailer on YouTube. We will post our reactions along with said trailer on our YouTube, so hop on there if you want to watch along, hear what we got to say. Otherwise, we'll be right back here with you in a few moments. All right, there was the trailer, boys. The people under the fucking stairs. We're going deep, going in the walls to see what's going on.
And to a young kid, seeing a grown man in full BDSM attire was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Confusing and stimulating.
that. If you see that at the right age, that can end up being a lifelong pursuit for you.
May have formulated some opinions in life.
Bring out the gimp. It's fucking Hootie's traps. You gotta fucking his traps is the only thing poking out of the fucking BDSM leather.
I saw this movie a lot as a kid and never realized till later on in life that was a BDSM attire. I thought it was just like a costume for the movie.
Oh, this guy's got a really hard dick for always wearing that costume. It's kind of weird. All right, boys, that's the trailer for People Under the Stairs. Where is that bad boy sitting at on Rotten Tomatoes with its audience score?
I feel like the only people that have seen this movie and are going to comment on it are going to be fans of it.
Some Wes heads.
Yeah, I don't see this as being one that pops up a lot. I'm going to say a fat 70.
I'm going to go with a 51 because this is a very divisive film.
That's kind of the same thing I was thinking. This didn't get a franchise, right? So
Definitely did not.
it's got Wes Craven's name to it. Didn't get a franchise. I'm guessing it might be more negatively reviewed than we think. I'm going to say 60. 60. All right, folks, taking a look at the internet real quick. Where can you watch The People Under the Stairs? Looks like it is not currently streaming on any major platform, but you can rent or buy it through the usual suspects. You know them. You don't need me to repeat them. So,
Apparently, Fandango at home.
Fandango at home, you can rent it for
Wherever the fuck
$4
that
apparently.
is.
So,
I didn't know it was a
Amazon
thing.
Prime Video, same thing. Apple TV. I guess Joey's going to make me list them out here. So.
Yeah, there we go. That's
This
good.
is one of the few DVDs I still own. So if you want to come to my house, we could all watch.
we'll go ahead and share your address and personal phone number for anyone who would like to come to your house. That's fine.
Prerequisite, though, is if you go to his house, you have to wear a jersey that he has mounted on the wall. You get to choose which jersey you want, but you got to wear one of them.
Yeah, you have to wear an S&M costume over top of it as well. But yeah, we encourage you to watch along. Of course, that adds to your enjoyment, and that's the only reason we're here doing this now, to share our love, our passions with you good folks. So, with that being said, thank you for listening. Check out our website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all the platforms for the podcast. Hit up our Instagram, check out the merch store. Give us a follow everywhere you can. Leave a review everywhere else you can. Send us some tightly sealed and very chilled bottles of Aquafina. I'm going to say goodbye and offer my support to women toting unborn children through a battlefield of disease and deceit. You the real MVP.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread that love. Spread the campaign of the Horrible Film School. And with that, I'm going to go, for a first time in a long time, watch a Wes Craven film that I remember fondly and find out just who are under those stairs.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you as guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time when we do our best to try and find Harry Potter in 1991's The People Under the Stairs. Class dismissed.